This is Anita Wood, and welcome to this topic snippet video reviewing the 7 steps of programming process. The programmer's job can be broken down into 7 development steps. In your reading, you were introduced to each of these steps. Because the textbook does such a good job explaining each step, I'm only going to highlight a few concepts about this process. The first step is understanding the problem. This sometimes is the most difficult part of programming. Someone will come up to you with a problem and say, fix it, or make it stop. You first must make an effort to understand what it is. The it here is the problem. There are some statistics that state a programmer should spend at least 20% of the entire time used to develop and implement the solution on understanding the problem. That might seem like a lot. However, if you try to take shortcuts here, you may find you don't understand the problem well enough and thus create a solution that will not work. You've ultimately wasted time and resources. If you repeatedly do not provide the correct solution, you could be finding yourself looking for another job. The next step, planning the logic. This course is developing your skills in planning logic. Logic is what is used to create the algorithms. In computer programming terms, an algorithm is a set of well-defined instructions to solve a particular problem. Now, algorithms can be simple and complex, depending on the problem that you're solving. We experience algorithms outside of programming in our everyday life. For instance, think of coding a new recipe, or not coding, God forbid, that would taste great. How about we cook a new recipe? First, you read the instructions and the steps, execute them one by one in a given sequence. The result, hopefully, is a new dish cooked perfectly. Every time you use your phone, computer, or calculator, you're using algorithms. Similarly, algorithms help to define a task in programming to get the expected output. Now, there are very useful tools that we're going to talk about next time, and we will use these to develop the logic, which represents the algorithms for the solution to our problem. These tools are pseudocode and flowcharting. Only when the programmer has developed the logic of a program can he or she code the program. Now, there are more than 400 programming languages. In this course, as I said, we will introduce you to Java, and you'll also learn C# in the CIS 169 portion of the course. Programmers choose a particular language because some languages have built-in capacities that make them more efficient than others at handling certain types of operations needed in the solution. The next step after coding is testing the program. Earlier, we talked about syntax and logic or semantic errors. The errors that are being chased here are the semantic errors. Remember, those are the ones that occur even though the code follows all the syntax rules, and yet the output is incorrect. It is critical a programmer tests their program with all of input or data that is expected, but also the data that is unexpected and could cause incorrect output or even crash the program. Now, in another video, we're going to look closer at developing test data. Right now, I just want to point out the selection of the input, or what is called test data. It's an art. It takes careful consideration. Until a program is tested successfully with the test data, it is not considered ready to go into production. All of us have experienced programs that should not have been shipped. Sometimes I feel Microsoft uses their community of users as testers. It's important to note, as a programmer, your work is not complete once your program has passed its testing phase. The process to move the program into production, in other words, being used by the company or the user who requested it, must be thought out carefully. The set of actions used for the conversion process is sometimes called a mitigation plan. Now, there are different ways to convert or switch a company over from using the old way to the new program. This concept is covered in more details when you study systems analysis. For now, I just want you to be aware, while a company is in the process of converting to a new program, you're not going to be able to leave for a vacation. Programmers are an integral part of this process. The final step. After programs have been in production, changes may be required. Now, handling these changes are part of the maintenance step in our process. Depending on the size of the requested change, the development cycle we defined here may need to be repeated. As I said, this review is just a highlight of some of the reading in the textbook. Do not consider this as a complete exposure to the concept. Make sure you read the book. Now, there is a quiz in Module 0 relating to the programming process. This lecture and your reading will provide you with the information necessary to be successful with that quiz. And that concludes this topic snippet video on the programming process.